Hi everyone, and welcome to our talk on machine translation systems for low-resource African language. I will be presenting this talk with my colleague, Chris Emezue. I am Bonaventure Dossou. I'm a master's student in data engineering at Jacobs University. I'm the co-founder of ADI, member of the Masakene community, and Black in AI community, but also part of the Never Give Up corporation. And as you can see down on the screen, those are my contacts to follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and also contact me through email for any further collaboration and research, to also follow what we are doing. So I'd like the floor to Chris to introduce himself and to take on.
Thank you very much, Bona. And my name is Chris Emezue from Nigeria, currently a master's student at the Technical University of Munich, studying mathematics and data science. The highly acclaimed Kenyan writer and academic Ngugi wa Thiong'o said, and I quote, "African intellectuals must do for their languages and culture what all other intellectuals in history have done for theirs." This quote, which underlies the importance of investing in African languages and by extension, the African culture, has been a source of motivation for our project. In this presentation, we'll describe machine translation, discuss the state of machine translation on African languages and on Benin languages. Then we'll describe the FFR project, which includes the data sets, the model, the results obtained, and the long-term plan. Machine translation involves automatic translation from one language to another. In this example, we translate the English phrase, "Thank you for your attention," from French, the source language, to form a target language using a model. African languages are the key to the African culture. They are the means by which African traditions and shared values may be preserved and transmitted. That is why machine translation of African languages is very important. This quote from a research paper on the left by Jade Abbott and Laura Martinez summarizes the impact of machine translation of African languages on the social, educational, and industrial revolution of Africa. Other countries like in Europe, the US, China have long realized this and have since invested largely in advertising and fostering the use of their language in the world. As a result, for example, we see many technological innovations as well as educational and social revolutions in English and other languages. While in contrast, African languages, although representing more than 30% of the world languages as seen on the right, have little or no international recognition, and therefore the African culture has been greatly misconstrued for decades now. 2 decades ago, African writers, scholars, and academics came together in a conference in Eritrea to address this issue, leading to the Asmara Declaration, which highlighted, among other things, the need for Africans to work on the African languages in order to bring them to the map and preserve them. However, African languages now are still underrepresented in machine translation. This can be seen in various spheres like technology, education, and research. For example, to the left, we compare the number of supported languages versus the number of African languages supported in major translation services like Google Translate, Yandex Translate, which is used in Russia, and DeepL Translate, a high-level translation software. With Google Translate having only 13 of the over 2,000 African languages and the others having far less, we see that African languages are really highly underrepresented. Why? Also, the chart on the right shows the number of papers that mention research in, for example, Somali, an African language, which is in orange color, versus Dutch, a non-African language, which is in blue color. And we see that the level of research done on African languages is really, really low compared to other non-African languages. The problems facing machine translation in African languages are summarized in a research carried out by Jade Abbott and Laura Martinez, includes the low resource nature of African languages, among other various problems like lack of focus, reproducibility, no benchmarks. Due to low online presence, the historic nature and morphology of most African languages, the fact that most African languages are more tonal based, like based on audio, African languages generally have little or no parallel or monolingual data. So it's hard to find and compile this data. This makes it generally difficult to perform machine translation, which usually requires large amounts of data.
Yes.
Over the years, communities, organizations, NGOs, companies, and key people have put in a great deal of effort towards natural language processing and also towards solving the issues related to machine translation for African languages. And they include, in no particular order, Black in AI, AI for Development, Masakane, Translators Without Borders, Deep Learning in DABRA, Data Science Nigeria, Data Science Africa, Zingi, InstaDeep, Hanoki, Parrot AI, Gaussian AI, EDI, Etio NLP, and the recently established Lacuna Fund to sponsor data collection in Africa. These are just some of the numerous individual and joint efforts towards fostering machine translation for African low-resource languages. And due to time constraints, we unfortunately can't go into discussing all the wonderful things that they have done as much as we would love to. We do, however, would like to point out to Masakane, a research community of NLP researchers, language experts, and volunteers who have come together to tackle machine translation for our low-resource languages. We want to note and to acknowledge that it's due to the help, support, and mentorship we as members have got from Masakane that has led to the realization of this project. African languages are very diverse, containing many branches and sub-branches. The Benin languages belong to the Niger-Congo language family. And going down the tree, we come to the Bay language clusters and the Fon language. Bonaventure Dossou will give an introduction to Fon language as well as talk about the FFR project.
So, Chris, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the great talk. Benin, actually my country, or officially Benin Republic, is a country with more than 50 indigenous languages, various, very different on each on their own languages, with each of them having their own specificities. However, French is our official language and is the language we use for education. So this highlights the fact that the language, the native language are not spoken, are not promoted, even in the education. And this actually is a problem because the Fon language is spoken by more than 38.6% of the population. And within those 38.6% of the population, 17% have the Fon language as primary language or first language. But Fon is mostly tonal. Is not written, so we speak French more than we write French, and this actually leads to the lack of documentation. But we know that to create a very great and modern machine translation, neural machine translation, we need very large amount of data. That is also why we chose to focus on Fon, because on the contrary to Yoruba, which is the second most spoken language in Benin, Fon has very few researches done about him. I will go further and introduce some people, some researchers, among which we can notice the Professor Dr. Emezue and the Dr. Fréjus Laleye, who have been working actively on phoneme classification, but also on phone-based continuous speech. And just a little bit of joke, those two great men have been my professors when I was entering university. So further, I will now talk about some data contributors because we haven't been able to do all these things alone. We have first of all Fabroni Yokluno, who has its label called I Am Yokluno, which promotes font language through daily citations on pictures. We have also Ricardo Aron-Vlamin, who has created a kind of robot to interact with people. I mean, just using the citation of Fabroni Yokluno to interact with people, giving them daily citation, trying to play around with them, the part of the body and all those things, useful things. We also have two other major sources, which are the Benin language website and the GW 300 that I will introduce and present more in more details on the further slide. So the FFR project. What is the FFR project? Our main goal is to translate to be efficient machine translate system that will be able to translate not only between African languages, but also between African and Western languages. This is made to ensure that our language are preserved. This is made to be sure that our language are promoted, because those languages, as Chris has said in the beginning, are integral parts of our culture. So, as I stated before, there is a very big lack of documentations. So we cannot pretend to be willing to create a very modern machine translation without having enough data. This is why our first step for this project has been to create the FFR project, FFR dataset project. In fact, the FFR project in itself has two big projects, which count the FFR dataset, which is a project for the collection on a large scale of font French daily data, font French proverbs, font French citations. Further, I will talk about the FFR dataset that I already said is a project to build large growing corpus of carefully cleaned font French parallel sentences. We can see that we have two different dataset, FFR1, FFR2, which actually differs only of the reevaluation of the translation by the FFR natives. The major sources are GW 300, which contains Jehovah Witnesses and sermons and translations, and Benin language, which contain medium, short, long sentences, proverbs, and also books of the Bible. So the difference is on the FFR1, we have many sentence mismatching. We have many incorrect, incomplete, and in some cases, inexistent translation of font sentences or French sentences. So including font French native in the process help us to now get the second data set, the FFR2, which actually is better in quality, but still have some problem of the mismatching and correct translation that we're actively working on improving. Further, after we gathered and after we cleansed our data set, it was very important for us now to process it. Many researchers like Mr. Iroro Orife and also Jade Abod and many others have shown in the studies that the accent generally in African language, and also especially is the case of the foreign language, are very important. For instance, if I take the word to, basically to, it has many, let me say, meaning, but here we can look at only 4 of them. We have to, which means ear. We have to, which means sea. We have to, which means country, and we have to, which means father. You can see that the intonation, the diacritics on each letter makes the meaning very crucial and can can determine actually the context. But that's why we try in our analysis now processing to be able to, as much as possible, to keep those accents, to avoid ambiguity and uncertainty, and to help actually our system to provide more morphological information and better translations. So moving further, I will be talking about the results. So here we have two main results. We first of all have the first category where the target and the predictions are similar in context, but don't match lexically. What do we mean by don't match lexically? For instance, in the first example, we have Saramosindowu, which means actually anoint with a medicine. This is the response we was expecting, but the model brought out se masser avec le remède, which means mass it with the remedy. They are not lexically matching. If we use the let me say the metric, evaluation metric, the blue metric that we use to evaluate the performance of our model, of our system, we will get a very low score. But as a French native, I can be able to testify that those two translations belong together, although they are different. So the lexicality is lost, but the context is kept. The other group of result we have were, was the target and the prediction mismatching. I mean, lexically and semantically, but the prediction is pretty similar to the source. This is like you can see in red, B means esprit de vie, spirit of life, life itself. Our expected response was actually pousser de nouvelles feuilles, which means grow new leaf. It was wrong, but somehow magically our model has been able to predict the correct answer. Of course, in this case, also the blue score will be very low because there's no match, neither lexically, neither semantically. And then this actually led us to introduce the idea of a new metric that will be better to assess, that will be able, to assess better the African machine translation quality that I will let Chris introduce and present. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bona. So the context means similarity, also known as a CMS metric, was a form of human evaluation that we set up to make up for the inadequacies of automatic translation metrics. During our research, we sent a subset of the test data to 5 French bilingual natives and got evaluation from the source prediction and prediction target pairs.
Yes.
And then used it to get a number from 0 to 1, which we call the CMS metric. The consideration of the source and target while scoring the prediction is a unique feature of our metric, which helps to improve the evaluation of the translation quality, especially where you have dialects, or you have the case like Bonaventure explained, where the target is wrong but the prediction is correct, or where lexically or semantically the target and prediction don't match but they have the same contextual meaning. In the next slide, we present a test run of the translation system on our website, which is set to be released soon, by the end of 2020. This is what the translation homepage will look like. This is what the translation service is like. At the moment, we have Fon, French, and French Fon translation working.
Yes.
So that's there, Fon French. You choose, write the word in front. So, how do you say this?
Miwa, which means actually come and let's work together. And our model predicted it correctly. Yeah, they are gonna be, yes, there are gonna be more example. Like, I love you, my dear mom.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. How do you say that again, please?
Iniwanue noche vive.
Iniwanue noche vive.
Noche vive. Yes. This one is Kudo Jigbezan Noche vive, which means happy birthday, happy, very beautiful birthday, dear dad. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, Monsi Romeo Hanton, which means ne te fâche pas, mon ami. Please, my friend, don't get angry.
Hmm.
And yeah.
I should use
Okay,
that.
so as we can see on the screen, we are now
Yeah.
trying to shift from font to French to font.
Okay.
And yeah, we try to show you a bit of code. Yeah, I'll let you, Chris, have the lead and yeah, describe the process going on here.
Okay, I wouldn't go much into the code. Like you explained, it's moving from French to fun, and the code runs backdoor behind the server. And at any moment from now, we should see something coming up. So basically what
Yes.
happens is that the code runs, the website is there, and the code runs the model behind the website. When you type words like this, the model takes the text, translates it, and gives answer, and it shows on the website.
Yes, like you can see, je t'aime papa chéri, undo love no touch everywhere, I love you my dad. Actually, I was expecting, or we were expecting uni one, which is the most current use expression for je t'aime, I love you. But the model brought out something much more deeper, which is undo love no. The other one is, est-ce que tu me fais confiance mon frère? Which means, do you trust me? Do you have faith in me, my friend?
Mhm.
And Ado Didido Tuccia, Noche Novice. Yeah. And this one is J'ai envie de dormir. I feel like sleeping. I would like to sleep. Et je le demande. And also, of course, as you can be seeing, there's gonna be a last example. Passe une bonne journée, Dorinel, which is a very close friend of mine. And it means have a nice day, Dorinel.
Okay.
Kudo kezeo menionue, Dorinel. Our mother got it perfectly. So this was what we wanted to talk to you about. This was how the translation system looks like for now. We're working on improving it. There's one last translation. Quel salaire reçois-tu par mois? Which salary do you receive per month, Chris? Yeah. I wanted to, yeah, I wanted to include Chris. So
And
Akwenambi Anondudo Sunokpume. And the model got it also right. So yeah, that's what we wanted to share with you to make you see how well the model is actually performing.
that's beautiful.
Uh,
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Thank you very much for that.
absolutely beautiful. So moving on the next step, we now talk about the future works. One biggest step of the future work is to keep on the collaborations with the natives from French speakers that we mentioned above, and if possible, also get in touch with more people to improve the translation quality. So with the quality, we will now add the quantity by increasing the variety of domains.
That's good. Also, we're
Yeah.
exploring various steps towards improving the translation system, like employing better model design architectures and training methods.
Yeah.
The work on FON is only a pilot project, and right now we are gradually incorporating other African languages in order to achieve our goal of providing efficient translation systems for African languages. So we started with FON, we plan to move to Igbo, which is my native language, and from there we're
Yes.
considering moving gradually adding more African languages, as
Languages.
many as possible. And
Yeah.
the idea is step by step, we solve the problem of machine translation in low resource African languages.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Merci pour votre attention et notre chaîne.
Enon Shenumi.
Yes, et notre chaîne.
Yeah, we'll be at the speaker lounge for the Q&A session. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or if you would like to talk more with us. Thank
Or
you.
we are open also to any collaboration. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.